thank you for tuning in to another episode of InRange. This is kind of a science experiment today. I've got my KE Arms Glock 19 Charlie slide here with a Delta Point Pro red dot, and I've got actually a barrel in here that I borrowed from a friend. It's an early Gen 2 barrel. And also I've got a late Gen 2 barrel, a Gen 3 barrel, a Gen 4 barrel, and a new Faxon threaded match grade barrel. If we change barrels on the gun, how much does the zero shift with the barrel change? This is much easier to test with a red dot because with iron sights there's a lot of wibble wobble in that. Got a ransom rest here that I borrowed from KE Arms. They were graciously allowed me to borrow this today. That gives us the most scientific evidence that we can get today, because I'm not going to get the kind of data I want from just, you know, firing it offhand. We're going to fire 5 rounds from each barrel and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to load up one magazine of 5. We're going to fire it on the target. We're going to circle that group. Then we're going to change the barrel and we're going to go through that process for each one of these barrels and see how much of a difference we really get. We have a target here at 15 yards. All right, looks good. All right. Gun's empty. I'm going to flip it up for safety reasons. Let's go down range and see what we got. All right, guys, this is the first barrel. I guess I didn't have the dot quite on there right. Doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is not move the gun from the point of aim that it's currently at in the ransom rest when we change the barrels. So this is my early Gen 2 barrel that I'm borrowing from a friend actually right now. I'm just going to draw a circle around it because what we're going to do is fire another group on the same target, and then we're going to actually determine what it is. Gen 2 early. So let's go back, let's change the barrel, fire another group. All right, so we're back here. We're going to take out this early Gen 2 barrel and we're going to replace it with a late Gen 2 barrel. All right, let's load up another 5-round magazine. We'll test the same thing. All right, we're locked open. Raise it up. Let's go see what happened downrange. All right, this is our late Gen 2 barrel. As you can see, it did indeed shift. Group size really didn't change, which is indicative of quality control, but the lockup on the gun did shift. So we're going to go over here. We're going to say second late Gen 2. Now let's go back and we're going to do the same thing with the Gen 3. And I'm not going to go back and forth for each one. I'm just going to circle it. I'm not going to do that on the video, and then at the end we'll have a conclusion. All right, I didn't do this on film, but I've just swapped it out to the Gen 3 barrel. We're going to fire a 5-round group with that, circle it downrange, vice versa. Let's see what happens. All right, the Gen 3 barrel actually gave us the tightest group, and it was right between the early Gen 2 and the late Gen 2. So they're kind of grouping sort of close together. We'll see at the end. So we're going to swap it out now for a Gen 4. Gun's clear. Drop the slide. Dry firing it so I can pull the barrel. As you can see, we're not moving the slide out of the ransom rest, which is the point of the consistency of this test. But the Gen 3 barrel there. It is interesting to note, guys, that these generation barrels are all interchangeable. You can put them in the gun. It's not a concern. And nothing has moved, so let's go ahead and do it. Locked open after 5. I'm going to go down range, circle it. All right, so this is very interesting. We didn't film the group with the Gen 3, but it was just between the late Gen 2 and the first Gen 2. However, this was the Gen 3 group right here. And interestingly, the Gen 4 group is exactly the same spot. So the Gen 3 barrel and the Gen 4 barrel did not shift at all. The zero would have been identical with both of those. And we also noticed that the group tightened up. So the early Gen 2 group was here. The late Gen 2 group was here. They're about the same in terms of size. The Gen 3 and the Gen 4 barrel exactly the same point of impact, and exactly the same tight group. So I think we may actually be seeing here Glock actually improving its manufacturing capabilities through the generations of barrels. The last one we're going to do is the Faxon barrel. So let's go try that now. All right, so we're going to swap out the Gen 4 Glock barrel with this Faxon match grade. This is threaded so that I can put a comp on it in the future. Gun's empty. Of course, I have to drop the slide and dry fire it to remove the barrel. Down on the target, drop the slide. Once again, nothing is moved. Five rounds down range, slide lock back. Let's go take a look. All right, guys, so this is a very interesting result. As I said earlier, the Gen 2 barrels actually turned out the worst groups. The Glock Gen 4 and 3 OEM barrels turned in very good groups, and the Faxon barrel turned in a group just slightly better than the OEM Glock or Generation 3 and 4 from Glock. What this goes to show you is Glock's manufacturing capabilities are excellent for an OEM barrel, as are Faxon's, as we already know. And when you pair that with a match grade slide like I got from KE Arms, you can turn in really incredible groups. This is at 15 yards, which we know is not an extreme distance. But when you're seeing 5 shots essentially touching from an OEM barrel or from a match grade barrel like Faxon, it tells you you've got the accuracy that's probably well above and beyond your personal shooting capabilities, unless you're particularly excellent. That's above my particular accuracy with a handgun. This is from a ransom rest. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. Patreon is what keeps InRange alive. We are a wholly viewer-supported program. We take no monetization from YouTube whatsoever. In fact, we've even turned off our AdSense entirely, if you haven't seen that video. If you can't do that, please just subscribe to the channels on Facebook, Full30, and YouTube. And most importantly, share with your friends, because that's what keeps InRange alive as well. We can't expect the AI bot to promote an AdSense-disabled channel. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.